You Hey, everybody. Check that out. Y'all seen that before, right? I'm just gonna tell you now. I picked this up off of eBay in a strange land, in a strange place. That's all I'll say. And basically, this is a copy of a brand name. And because this is a copy, I'm not going to say what the copy is. Just as right here. And I'm just going to keep it as that. What can I say? Today's topic is copies. And are copies worth it? Is it something that you can like get and soup up yourself and what you want to? And I put some EMG pickups in this. The original ones that came with it were faux pas. They weren't real EMGs. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I'm being a horrible person by having a copy? Do you think copies are worth it? I mean, if you want to go back to actually what copies are about, the biggest copy of them all is probably the Fenders. I mean, the Fender shapes, the Fender, style. I mean, that's been copied by numerous different companies. And I don't know. What do you think? Evidently, the copyright on those designs were kind of up and down. I don't know. I don't know what they do. Does Fender get paid for every copy jazz bass and P-Bass that out there that looks like one of theirs? I'm sure that's the way it started, but after a while, I don't know. It's like how many people are going to chase in court to copy? Now this is, I'll admit, a copy of a famous bass. This is America. We're allowed to buy it. I don't fear that I'm going to be arrested. Like I said, it's a copy. I saw it for a very, very minimal price. I bought it and then picked up, oh, thank you. This is bass is gorgeous. Well, I picked it up and I put basically whatever EQ system and, like I said, the original, real EMG pickups into the bass to make it sound pretty good. And it's a 24 scale all the way up to here. And like I said, I won't mention what this is a copy of, but you probably know. Yeah, I just want to, if anybody's out there, I know it's a lowly Sunday. Everybody should be in, or if you're attending church, you should be back soon. And what do you think? Do you think copies are the thing? Good afternoon. How you doing? So guys, what do you think of this copy? Do you think copies are worth it? Do you feel guilty about getting a copy? Sounds good to you. Okay. Thank you. But like I said, what do you think about this? Should we be, I don't know, pushed enough or feel guilty enough to get the genuine article or something, besides a copy or something like that? What do you think? Okay, well, I'm just letting everybody know this is not legit. This is not the real thing, and that's the focus of this live video. I just wanted to ask the question, what do you think of copies? I mean, sometimes, well, let me put it this way. When I first started doing videos about critiques about basses, um, basically I did critiques about standard basses and no guilt. He says no guilt. Okay. Something you use. Okay. Okay. I get you. I get you. Said there's no guilt. It's just something you buy and everything. When I first started doing, I wouldn't, as long as I ethically obtained it. Oh yeah, I didn't steal it. I bought it. Yeah, and it's hey, it's cool. Um, when I first started, I don't like ignoring people here. Wouldn't feel guilty at all. I like copies personally. Have a few. Okay. Buying a Rolex, for example, you don't get the. Oh, everybody's coming at it now. I can barely read them. You don't get the quality base, all kind of, but I know. When I first, let me get this out. I'm trying to read and do this. When I first started critiquing, I critiqued brand name bases, Fenders, Gibsons, everybody. And the thing about it was, it was so expensive. American, but I mean, it's just they cost a lot of money. And then I started getting into other bases that were good bases but weren't so inexpensive bases that you could probably take and soup up yourself. You can Frankenstein and put what you want them in, and so that seemed to have caught on for a lot of the companies because they started making these secondary divisions of their companies to put out a cheaper bass or cheaper guitars and everything like that. You know, um, of course, Fender had Squiers, Music Man, Ernie Ball Music Man. Had the Sterling by Music Men's, and then the sub basses. It's just hey, that's what it goes. And I think they make quite a profit on those inexpensive, or you might say cheaper, products. Something this stylish, you know, just would be so out of reach of the average person that you can't really do anything about it, man. I mean, it's hard, I mean, you have the desire to play bass, and you know, and hold on, let me do this. Do some of that at one time. You have the desire to play bass, but just like Marcus got with the Sire people, that was the whole thing there. Um, he wanted a quality bass, didn't cost so much money. And, now it's like the hottest thing going. Let me read some of these things. Marco Hernandez, if I skipped you, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do certain things at the same time. Yeah. You got Marco Hernandez saying, I understand why some people uh, would buy a copy. It's not good for the company that was copied. Well, yeah, that's right. Ed Allen Hildebrand says, Squires are great. The vintage jazzes anyway. Uh, Val Jackson, I buy for the sound and feel of it. It makes no difference to me. If it works, it works. That's the opinion of a lot of people that about this. Now, just to let you know, this thing right here, this copy of another brand, this thing new is going to cost you. I mean, the basic one is going to cost you a couple grand. And I know there are just people that just can't afford that. So they go for a copy and they put it in. Now, does that hurt the company? I'm sure it does. Let me get comfortable here. I'm sure it does. Do I feel guilty? Yeah, I do. I do feel a little guilty. You may say why, but I do kind of feel good. It's not something I want to do because you want to promote your country, you want to promote Americana. I'm getting myself in trouble on that, but it's just that these are irresistible. I just love it. Let me try to get people in here. Mike Edwards says, I don't think a really expensive bass will make you play better or be a better player. Well, that's true, yeah. But, you do what you can and you go ahead and, get the bass you like. That's another thing, you cosmetic, Stanley Clark said something years ago. This is back in like the late 70s. He said he was advising people on what they should do when they buy their first bass. He said sometimes the price wasn't the object, is what you felt about the bass, how it looked to you. It's like a nice car. You want to drive that car because it looks good and it looks fast and like that. He says cosmetically, you got to love the bass like that because it'll get you to play it. Psychological, but maybe that's right. You know, I mean, this looks beautiful. It looks spot on perfect. All it was basically was a piece of wood. So it's like you put what you want in the piece of wood. The sires are amazing, yes, Alan Hildebrand says. And live your review. Oh, I love your reviews on them. I guess what she said, live. I love your reviews. Thanks, that's Alan, Mr. Hildebrand. BJ Nordo says, I agree with Mike on the hands. What did Mike say? Oh, Mike says, oh, yeah, I really don't think an expensive bass will make you a better player. True. There you go, love. Marco Hernandez is back. He says, I think the Yin Yang bass from Fedora is about 5,000. Really? This one? Okay, this is the 4-string, not the 5. 5,000? I must be right. What's up, Ruben? How you doing? Hey, Ruben. The subject is copies. What do you think of copies, Ruben? You think they're worth it? Do you feel guilty getting a copy? This is a copy. This is not the original. One of these is supposed to be about $5,000 according to Marco Hernandez. Would you pay that much for a bass? Yeah, that's nothing. Would you? I mean, the name brands. Would you pay that much for the name brands? Just to say I have an authentic Fender, I have an authentic Gibson. Is it really worth it? Maybe so back in the day, but now you got so many alternatives. Some of these cheaper basses play just as good as the top basses. What do you think about that? Alex D. Raspberry says, drop another bass collection video. Love the content. Maybe. Well, Jeff, what do you think about our subject today? Do you know our subject? We're talking about copies, bass copies, or guitar copies, whatever you're saying. Copies of the brand names. What do you think about those? You think we're cheating ourselves out of a great bass? Okay. BG Norris says, perhaps if I was gigging as a professional, you might get. Yeah, that's another thing. If I was touring with Stevie Wonder as a new bass player, goodness forbid. Yeah. I mean, he might want to. He sees my collection of basses. He might say, or here's my collection. He might say, that's not. Why don't you get a so and so bass? And I'd have to appease him. I would say, hey, he's the boss. Yes, sir. I would get whatever bass he wanted to get. That's right. If it costs that much, I guess I'd have to make the investment. He'll pay back for me. Vic Jackson says, I would not pay $5,000, which is 5,000, if I were not getting a return on that investment. Wow. Right. Yeah. Something's got to make you really paper, something like that. It's, you gotta have a reason. Marco says there's also a difference between a base being influenced by another company and a base that is straight up copy. Yes, it is true. Let me see what we got now. Haunted Lighthouse says, when I used to tour, I cared more about brand names. Now I just play bass at home, so I'm cool with copies. Okay. Yeah, looks like that. It's coffee here. Folgers. Vandal Squid 209 says, I wouldn't buy a fake Fender for $500, but would buy a copy J. Tercer Fender copy with difference in style for $200 if I had to. Sounds logical. Anybody else out there has this copy? Feels good, man. Doesn't compromise on the Fender, and this is a full, gotta be, this is 24 fret, so it's full. I think it's 34 or 5 scale, 34 scale. Yeah, you should never buy a crappy bass, no matter what it looks like. But the question is, can you get quality? Can you get quality for a lower price without the stigma of being ribbed for having an off brand? Well, certainly with the Fender Squiers, some of the lower end Yamahas, and of course the the Ernie Ball Music Man basses, the sub basses. The quality's there and the sound is there. You got the straight Sterling by Music Man at around anywhere from $600 to $900. You got the sub basses. You're down to like I think the lowest one is $299 to about $499, something like that. And of course the American-made Ernie Ball top brand Music Man. I mean you're talking to 1,500, 2,000 and up, and up there, so 1956 Willie 4x4 says, I just don't like it when someone makes a P-Bass copy, sells it for good money, and tells you how better the thing is. Well, better how better is than the real thing. I don't know. Most of the lower bass, they're priced within the range. What particular bass are you talking about? 1956 Willie's 4x4. Have you had have you bought a lemon? It didn't turn out to be what you wanted to be. I'm interested. I'd like to hear. Clark Sims says every company is using from the Fender 1950. Of course, yeah, and the Jazz. Jazz bass. I mean, it's the most. The Fender designs are the most copied in history. I mean, like I said, when Fender first started out, they probably held tight on the copyrights and patent. But after a while, how many people are you going to chase? After a while, every independent bass maker, just about every independent bass maker has a P&J bass design. It's ridiculous, but and I'm not writing them off. Those are some great homemade basses. They take away time with them. That's why they cost so much. But if you just want to play, I mean, like I said, you may want to buy American, but the Japanese, the Germans, I mean, and now especially Indonesian companies, I mean, pretty good quality for less. But how are we going to pass it up? It's kind of hard. That's all I'll say. Alex D. Raspberry is back. I think it's fine because those official bases can hurt your pocket. Yeah. I normally get a copy bass and super mod them up, right? Frankenstein. I call them Frankenstein with better pickups and J Retro preamp. Yeah. That's what people are doing. It's not the shell, it's the soul inside. Yeah. Tweed Man. I'm sorry, but I don't believe companies that charge $4,000 more, I guess you're saying, for an instrument is hurting because someone buys a copy. Companies make copies of their own instruments so people can buy them, yeah. So you don't think it hurts anybody? Mm. Okay, now let me go back to some of these that I had no choice but to skip over. Sideshow Bob Marley says, "Good day, my brother, and good day, my brother. Does the copy have the same quality as the original, though?" I've only played one like this, um, and all I can say is I'm sure it's not as good as the general article, but boy, it's tasty. I mean, somebody must have stole the plans or took good photographs of the original one and just made this. I mean, it's like the Gibson guitars and basses, you know, compared to their Epiphone line. I put guitars that couldn't tell the difference in one of them, but right away, because the guitar players, they come up and tell me, "Oh, yeah, I can take the guitar," and of course, you hear the difference. But that's the way it is. You know, I mean, the copies are not made for the professionals, but they can be used professionally. Robert Taylor coming back down there. 1956 Willie's 4x4 says, "No, just see a lot of them. I have no problem with the copies." Right. Uh, Robert Taylor says, "I bought a Chinese Mayons before. Now, Mayons is a legit company, and he said I bought a China Mayons, which um, I guess has to be a copy. The sound was great out of the box, but be prepared to do some work on it. Primarily fret leveling. Still 200 versus thousands. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you do some fret leveling. That must have cost you, I don't know, 100, maybe, or lower than that, maybe $80 to get first level. Um, Still, you're well under the price of thousands. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Robert. To you, Robert, was it worth it? I mean, are you totally pleased with your man's copy? Let me know. Big Jackson is back. "I would bet even money if I played Victor Wooten's Fedora. I would not sound like Victor Wooten on my best day. Therefore, get in where you can fit in." Get in where you can fit in. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. That's like remember those shoes they used to make back like the pump. You squeeze the top of the shoe, you know. And on the Jordans, getting a Jordan shoes is not gonna make you play like Jordan. Getting a signed Marcus Miller is not gonna make you play like Marcus Miller or the original Fender Marcus Miller. It's not gonna make you play. It's all on what you do. So yeah, I mean, the best bass player can make the cheapest bass sound like, whew, depends on who plays. You're right. You're right. Kappa the Great says it depends on where you get the bass from. Some Fedora companies have crook necks, bad electronics, jacked up frets, and sound like garbage juice. Original Fedoras, those weren't copies you ran into, right? Because quality, they're not supposed to, let that out. What's up, Morris man? How you doing, bro? Today's subject: bass copies. Are they worth it? What do you think about bass copies as opposed to the genuine article? What do you think, Morris man? We'd love to. Morris Man Smith has a very, very popular channel here on YouTube. We'd love to excuse me, love to know your input. Vandal Squid 209 is back. So many people, he says, passing fake guitars and basses as the real thing nowadays. Sad how many people fall for scammers and pay things like that need to stop. Yeah, I mean, getting a lemon is getting a lemon, and trying to pass off these fake guitars, that's the real thing. I've heard about that. Um, I never had any delusions of grandeur. I mean, if I bought a fake, I know I was getting a fake. Especially if you're ordering something overseas and it says right on there it's a Gibson or a Fender. We know they're fakes. Come on, don't be naive, people. You're not gonna get a genuine Fender Marcus Miller bass for about $300 overseas in Indochina or whatever, and it's real. It's not real. Come on now, come on. Now we got to be aware here. There's snakes in all grass. So if you're thinking you're getting a genuine article, shame on you. Come on, you know. And as far as people right here in the country on eBay trying to pass that off as hey, keep up the good fighter, man. It's like if you get something that you know is not the genuine, hey, you get with YouTube, you get with you get with eBay, and you come in and you try to get this person, you got to put some fortitude in to try to get that person knocked off of eBay. eBay doesn't play that. They're pretty cool, and they don't like scandalous sellers. So if you get handed a lemon, you fight. You have to, hate to have to fight all the time, but that's your money. Got to fight, right, Morris? Morris will tell you about it. He's had some dealings with scrupulous people on eBay. I remember doing that videos about it, right, Morris? Morris Man Smith. Morris Man Smith is back. He said some are worth it. That's okay. Some. Benton, price right for performing upgrades on. Yeah, Harley Benton's not bad. Not bad. They got prices that rival Sires, and their workmanship is not bad. I got one so far. I'm thinking about getting another. They offer you some stuff. They offer you vintage looking jazzes, P-basses, the early 51 P-bass. They got a version of that. They got a Rickenbacker copy. They got the jazz and the P-basses with the standard pickups, but then they got the one with the jazz pickups plus humbucking pickup. They got all kinds. And people now the only thing I've heard is like most people like them for beginners, professionals. They're very playable. Um, a lot of times people switch pickups, and it's not really. And that's the thing that's such a key to that because they're not really expensive at all. Probably the most expensive thing you might put in there is another set of pickups, and that's not going to still cost you anywhere near what the bass apparently is. Able to afford it. Something like a more expensive bass. I mean, there's no way. So you can take that Harley Benton bass and turn it into something you want. And it's all good. Harley Benton's good for that. There's some prominent critiques here on critique channels here on YouTube that give a thumbs up to Harley Benton. So, right. Thumbs up to Harley Benton. I got one. Constantine, hey man, how you doing? I tried to face chat you one day. I guess you were busy. Or you don't want to face chat right now yet. Trying to get to know you better. What's up, my good friend? How you doing in Canada? Hope everything's all well with me, man. Hope it's well with you, eh? What do you think, Constantine? What do you think of base copies? I don't think you have any copies, do you? No, all your stuff is authentic. Hildeman 74 is back. I heard great things about HB at Robert Taylor. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Vandal Squid 209. HB makes some great stuff. They do. They do. They really do. And the prices are well in your range. I don't think they have a bass over or guitar over, certainly not over 600 bucks. You get the HB from Toma? Yes, I did, Robert. Robert Taylor asked me that where I get. Yeah, I got it from them. Had a little tough time getting it at first. And I called the place on their American phone number, and they said it happens sometimes. Sometimes your credit card won't take them because it's overseas. But all I did was call them directly and tell them that to allow me to charge from them. It's okay. So after you get a clearance, you can go ahead and buy off of Tony. Got the sniffles a little bit. Constantine says, want a new Sire 5 string and try out the HB. I don't know how you're going to try out that HB. It's like, the HB I got is like 200 bucks. The HB double humbucker one. And I basically had the idea to get it off of YouTube, somebody to review. So, you're not going to see the Toman bases, Harley Bentons up in, the average store. So that's going to be tough. You have to get one on faith or watching a few videos. Hildeman 74 is back. Yeah, the V5 Sire's looking good. Yeah, the Sire has a few new bases. Got the V5 series, and the U5 series. The V5s are standard jazz basses from Sire that are passive, old-fashioned passive basses that have good pickups in them and it's supposed to sound pretty good if you like the passive sound all day. They also have what you call the U5s, which is also a passive jazz, which is a 30-inch short scale bass, the U5. Yeah. They also have you probably heard of the M2 basses and the M7 basses. They got one right in between them called the M5. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. So check out the new Sires. They're all up now. Some are sold out already. So Jeff Wood says, "Do you think of Squiers have what do I? Are you asking what do I think of Squier copies? Because you didn't finish the sentence now. You just says, do you think of Squiers have copies? Right. And if you don't mind, Jeff, write that over again. I want to know exactly what you're asking there. It's kind of confusing the way you wrote it. No offense. Leslie Wells says, what online site you buy copies from? eBay. I bought them off of eBay. Saw them in stores. And I only got really two main copies. I got this one, and I got another that looks like it's a red one. It looks like a Music Man, a single pickup Music Man, hard to pick up. And I just put what EQ I wanted in them, and they sound great. Low end lobster. Sup, man? Doing another live one, man. You know our subject here? Talk about copies. Talk about are they worth it? Talking about getting a copy of some popular, you know, brand and souping it up, putting Better pickups, better EQing it, better pickups and whatnot. Do you feel it's cool, or do you feel it's you're a little guilty for getting a copy instead of the genuine article? We're discussing all of that. Leslie Wells says, thanks, it looks nice. Well, thank you. Hildeman, yeah, I thought that. Hildeman's 74 says, you can't get the V5 right now from site. They're all sold out. They'll get more. They'll get more. Constantine Islamau, my boy, says, Low End Lobster is doing some awesome reviews. Yes, he is. Shout out to Low End Lobster. Check out his channel, everybody. With his claw hand. He's really good. I can't do because I can't get a hold of some of the bases he has. He's a great alternative. Low End Lobster. We have a friend named Bully the Kid. Where's Bully? Bully around? Are you doing a video? Hildeman 74 is back. Low End, love your stuff. Yeah, hey, man, you got fans, man. Got fans, Low End. Robert Taylor's back. Got my copy from DH Gate. Yeah, 2 months on delivery. Yeah, it'd take a while. Let me tell you an unfortunate DH Gate story, and I'm not really criticizing, but still affects me. Oh, by the way, Low End Lobster says thanks, everybody. Says thanks. Sign up for a bass that was obviously a copy from DH Gates, and what can I say? Put the money in, received the bass, never got the money back because U.S. Customs snatched it and sent me a 5-page letter on why they were not gonna let it through. They said it was contraband, and that I could go ahead and protest it with a written letter and a lawyer. Who's gonna pay for that? And the alternative was they probably took it and burnt it up, and that scared me for a long time, for forever, to deal with an outside United States company after that. In fact, I didn't do that until years later with Tomon, because they were pretty legit and they had their own stuff. So yeah, I have an order from DHK ever since then. Morris Man Smith says, hate DHK, said they're scammers. Yeah, you see what happened to me? U.S. Customs says, nope. Contraband. Why me? Paul Trainer, good afternoon. Hi, Paul. How you doing? Constantine Islamau is back. Should you not have done your annual Detroit bass get together? Sad times right now. Perhaps next year. Yeah, well, it was all we did the bass day 2020 here in Michigan virtually through the internet, like everybody else is doing. So we did that. Yeah, we couldn't go out down there and do that thing. It's so sad, man. Everybody was yelling, yeah, man, and 2019, man, 2020 is gonna be the year. Yeah, we're gonna that COVID let the air out of that, didn't it? Terrible. Oh, well, 2021. Hopefully. Robert Taylor's back. Yep. Have them change the logo and put your own logo on. Edgar Johnson, afternoon. Afternoon, Edgar. How you doing? Have we talked before? I don't think we have. Edgar Johnson. Tweedman says, I think if you try yard sales and estate sales, you might get lucky to find an original. Might not be what you want, but you can always trade up. Copies just give you the original experience. Yeah. Leslie Wells is back. I'm glad you mentioned that because I looked into buying from DH Gate. Glad I didn't buy. Yeah. I don't know. You might get away with an original off-brand that they offer, but any copies, no. I don't think it's worth it, because that shocked me when I got the 5-page letter. Morrisman Smith says, I posted a video on DHgate and they got scared and refunded my money. I should have did that. They didn't want the publicity. Maybe I should have did anything about it then. I just know, U.S. Customs scared me. Paul Turner, yeah. From Liverpool. Liverpool. How you doing, Paul? We talked before. What do you think about well, you said what you thought, yeah. There's I don't know why I thought about this, Paul, but there's a lot of copies for the so-called Beetle bass that I've seen around. That's a highly copied bass, the Horner, the original Horner. Several companies got a style of that bass. Small acoustic-like bass, violin-looking bass. Yeah, the original costs, I think that's in about 1,000. An original American-made one. Tony London, Wills is back. Is Alibaba and DHgate a sister company? Alibaba and AliExpress is the same thing. I don't think DHgate is. No. Or, I don't know, they might be going through the same channels. Possible. But that's what I think I know. Alibaba and AliExpress are the same. Paul Turner says, cheers, Earl. Best wishes. Thank you, sir. You too. What's up, Constantine? Late to the video, but what is that beautiful bass in the hand? Oh, I thought you knew. This is a copy of a certain bass that famous bass player plays. He has his own edition of this bass. His initials are JW. And this is the Yin Yang. This is a copy of the original bass that I saw on eBay. It was obviously a copy because they were offering it for yet next to nothing. I think I bought it for $300. Bought it, got it, it had pickups that said EMG on them. The P-Bass pickups and the jazz on the bottom. But they weren't real. So I had to buy me some real ones, put them in there, active pickups, and yeah. Like it. Duran real. Yeah, so, yeah, nice. And yeah. Called a Yin Yang bass. Jeff Wood says, what would you say is the most copied? Well, obviously the Fenders. Everybody copies the Fenders. The jazz and the P-Bass. Like I said, probably early on, Fender probably tried to keep a lid on the patent on the design. But I mean, just about every somebody started copying that design out through the years. It's like, how many people can you sue? They did that. They did the same thing. I'm seeing this thing on PBS years ago about when Ned Steinberger started the Steinberger bass. He hadn't even gotten, his examples of his bass, the headless bass, in the NAMM show, which is the national, like a show of, music. It's like a National American Music Merchants, and they were already had a design out that's similar to his. He walked in there looking at it like, what the heck? It's like it's really hard to keep a lid on that, those designs. So yeah, ain't that a shame? Yeah, Jeff. I said Jeff Wood. As I say, the Fenders are the most copied, followed by. I say Steinberg now. Followed by, if not the Gibson Thunderbird, probably the Beetle bass. There's a lot of different versions of that Beetle bass that Paul McCartney used to play. So Low End Lobster says, at what point does a copy become its own thing? Sadowski, Lakeland, etc., all have fun. Yeah, all of them do. It's like, why fight any longer? You know, I'm sure they all have like a different type of sound, but you know, Vandal Squid 209. That's because the patent probably ended up in public domain. Oh, okay. I don't know how the legal standpoint on that is. Public domain. Now, public domain means it's, forget it. It's with everybody. So public domain. So how does that happen? Does a company register, or how do they decide something's public domain like that? That's weird. So, how much I know. What preamp is in that? No, these are active pickups. Just a regular EQ is in this one. The pickups are the thing. They're live. Tweed Man says Fender's the only company that I know that makes copies of their copies. Squier, Affinity. No, you got Music Man now. Underball Music Man. They make Sterling by Music Man, lower level, and then lower than that we have the SUBs. I mean, Sterling by Music Man subs. So they make their own copies too. And Gibson has Epiphone. I bought Epiphone years ago. And I think there's two stages of the Yamahas too. Oh, and Ibanez have many stages. They take you from like a good $150 all the way to 2,000 and 3,000. You got many, so much to choose from as far as guitars and basses. When Lobster says, I don't think they trademarked the body shape. Okay. I need to write up on that. Low and Lobster also says, in my latest review on the Ashdown Low Rider, which type of instrument, during the interview with Dan Lakin, I assume from Lakeland Bases, he talks about the lawsuit in the mid 2000s in regards to the headstock shape. Wow. I know that's how, a lot of the independents know that's how they mark the difference in their J and P based copies. A little bit different on the headstock, like Flintstag is different from Sadowski is different from Oliva Capolo in their headstock style. The rest is jazz or P bass. Yeah. Marco Hernandez is back. He says Low End Lobster. He's directed to Low End Lobster, and he says Low End. He says in his opinion, it becomes a problem when the copy uses the original logo. Okay, yeah. That's why I stay away from DH Gate. Police. He agrees with you, Marco. Low and Lobster says is that Dom, his tech man, works on his stuff, was telling him a story of one of his customers who spent like $400 after shipping on a Gibson. Racist. Okay, let's not get racist here. Chinese Gibson, Gibson. That's right. From AliExpress. Mm-hmm. Now they're usually cool. But I mean, he should have known that though, right? He should have known that wasn't $400. Come on now, and he couldn't get that same price here in America. Should have known that was a jive. Come on now, people, be smart. And then he paid an additional $700 to put new pickups on it. No, man, no, that's tight. That's tight. Be careful out there, y'all. he said it was still a piece of shit. That's not funny. It's Tweed Man. He says, Earl, would you consider custom shop fenders the ultimate copies of their own basses or not? Ultimate as far as, because I mean the ultimate is I mean custom is custom. It's made to your specifications. You know, you get the basic Fender or Jazz or whatever, but then you add your little knickknacks on it. You know, custom is custom made. So you choose the ultimate. Well, uh, ultimate for you, for the personal individual, it's going to cost you. Excuse me. Oh, give me. Ooh. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Pause for the calls. Oh. Still around, guys. Personal maintenance here. I'm back. Yeah. Lauren Louser says all he wanted was the name, man. Quality was second to the people thinking he had a gold top Gibson. Come on now. He thought he had a gold top Gibson for $400. Come on now. Whoever that guy is, man, don't tell him try to sell that sucker. They'll put a contract on him. Now, if he loves it, I love it. I mean, if that just painting, you know, that paint, that gold paint on it, if it makes you feel good, go ahead. And then put some pickups, some really nice pickups. It'll probably be the most expensive thing you put in there, and you know, make it sound the way you want it. You know. Paul Trainer, Rickenbacker copies I've seen have been poor quality. I agree because you know it seems like that's a very wild fangled design. I mean, there's no design like a Rickenbacker, so it's like yeah. I mean, you can't just make a Rickenbacker. You got those are some specific dimensions, and you can probably tell the cheapness of a copy right away. Now, I've never had one. I've played a Rickenbacker copy, and I played a real one. There's no comparison. No comparison. You may want to avoid that Rickenbacker copy. A little different from the Fenders and everybody else. The Rickenbacker copy, I mean, when you play an authentic Rickenbacker, I mean, it just feels like a Rickenbacker. So I don't know. Now I'm sure there's something you can get away with. Like I said, it's all upon you. I'm buying this copy. I'm buying this bass, and it's mine. Beautiful. I don't mean for it to be authentic, right? My Squiers are my Squiers. My real Fender is a real Fender. I don't put them in the same place. It's all what you want, right? Leslie Wells is back. If you had an unlimited money to spend on a bass, what 4 basses would you buy? That's a good question. I'd probably buy the basses that I had been into for a long time, those fabled, unreachable basses. You know, I would love me a standard Stanley Clark edition of an Olympic. That's one, just to have it, and just to play it sometimes, just to hang out in a special place in my bass room here. Um, there is a bass that is a signature bass from my man with level 42. What's my man's name? Isn't it interesting? You get live and you go blank, but he has what you call a status bass that's headless with a little kind of a Stanley Clark Olympic shape at the end of his 24 first, real bright. I love one of those, and that's way above my pay grade. I can't get this sucker, but I will get it then. So that's number two. Number three, I would probably buy me some type of acoustic bass violin in any style. You know, I mean, any as long as it's put together well. So, I hope he didn't mean just electric basses. That's what I would buy. I would buy that just to have that to mess around with. I've always wanted one to mess around with, make it part of the furniture, but I would still play it. And lastly, I don't know. That's a good thrill. I got music, man. Got this. Probably an authentic Fender P-Bass, the one four string, the one that resembles the one that's the Motown bass, the thump machine. Yeah, one of those that the bass that really made Motown from that year. I think it's 19. James Jamerson is. I think what is it? Is it a 62? I think he had a 1962 P-Bass. Black trans bass with the standard P-Bass pickups, the tortoiseshell, brown tortoiseshell pick guard, 62 P-Bass. Yeah, that edition. They make copies of that, or maybe you can get an original. If I can find an original somewhere, I'd love it. The one that Jameson played. Yeah, I'd love that. So that's my four. How about that, Leslie? Thomann, Germany. Paul Trainer. Thomann, Germany has some good bass copies and stuff. Oh yeah, they do. Oh yeah, I just said that. Praise. I concur with you, Paul. Paul from London wants to know also any thoughts on the wall bass guitars. Good looking, sturdy looking basses. I heard they're kind of heavy, but I've never played one. Never played one. I don't know what he looks like now. Back in the day in the 70s, he was kind of lanky, British dude. He played the wall fretless. Beautiful on it. I forget. He was in I know the band. I forgot his name, but I know the band. It was called Brand X. They were kind of jazz fusion, and he played a wall. That was that was pretty good. Kind of followed the jazz looking, and then it didn't. That was kind of a original looking bass guitar. But no, I never played a wall. I wish. Maybe if I want a 5 bass guitar, I'd buy that one. Okay. There you go, Bully. What up, Bully? How you been, bud? Bully the Kid, me and Lobster's good friend, says that he would like to have a Andre Goucher bass or a Norm Stockton bass. All right. Yeah. Good basses. They can play those suckers too, boy. Leslie Wells, my dream list, the Modulus J5, the Lakeland 4460, Sandberger TT Superlight, Fender Jazz 74, and any photo there just to hang on my wall like this one. This copy though. Nice. Leslie's back as well. I am sorry my connection went out. I only heard the four. Oh, okay. Let me go back. You asked me if money was the four bases. are usually basses that have been out of reach for me for a long time, but I'd probably get a Stanley Clark edition of that Alembic bass he plays all the time. Okay. I would get me an acoustic bass, some type of acoustic bass, just to be part of the furniture here, bass vinyl. You know, I would get that, try to get this 62 Fender bass. And what did I say that one was? See, Sam, I'm getting old. The one, a man from level 42, the one plays the custom status bass that he plays with. It's headless, had kind of that body that that Alembic Stanley Clark double bolt. I think it's 18 volt. Yeah, I'd love to have that bass, that status bass that he plays. And that was my 4. Did you get them all? Let's lie. Hello from Singapore. Hi. Jeff Wood is back. The first SX bases with the nice headstocks. Where they? Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, SX got sued because they looked too close like the Fender bases. And why the chain? Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Those editions, those bases. I think I got one back here somewhere. No longer working. Those were cool. And then I guess after they got sued, they went to another maker, another distributor, something like that. And I didn't like the way it turned out. Nah. What's up, man? Bully. MTD. Yeah. You know the subject, right, Bully? We're talking about bass copies and are they worth it? Would you get one? Do you feel guilty about getting one aside from the original? All those things. That's what we're talking about today. Super SSS 007. What these names? Hey, man, have you ever laid hands on a Neuser bass? Neuser bass? No, I haven't. I have to look it up. Neuser. In fact, maybe I'll look it up right now. A Neuser bass. That sounds foreign. Sounds German. Neuser. Said it's handmade. Ooh. Neuser. Okay, Neuser. Don't have a good picture on it. Neuser's curve. Oh, that looks interesting. $1,400. Okay. I'll have to get into that a little bit later. Super SS. Leslie Wells. I've never heard of status bass. Yeah. What is my man name? I'm so old. Level 42. I know his name, and like I said, you get on here and and you just go blank. I know what I meant his name. Jeez. Mark King. Mark King. A level 42. Yeah. Status made him a bass. It's called the Mark King bass. And very expensive. But man, the sound. Ooh. Jeez. And yeah, he's my man. He's with the English group, very popular in the 80s, and still popular, called Level 42. And he was an English thumper, man. He was always a thumper. He was thumping before a lot of English bass players even tried their hand in it. And yeah, the status bass. I'm just looking on the internet. So how's everybody doing still during the pandemic? We're hoping that 2021 will be better. Yeah. It's called the Status Graphite King Bass. If you can look that up. Status Graphite King Bass. Headless bass, nice little cute body. Has lights, LED lights on the neck, on the fretboard. Nicholas says, how many basses do you own? I own a good I own a working 20 basses. Certain basses are here, there, in disarray. I take parts off and put them on other basses. So a good working 20 basses. Bully the Kid says, I've been liking the Dingwall basses, which is kind of spread at the top and kind of comes in and goes down to the other side of the bass. That's how the frets spread out like this. And from what people are saying, that is the natural way that the fingers attack the the fretboard and strings. Maybe I've never played one. I've seen many people play on the net, but I've never played one. You're gonna be getting one. Is that your next bass, Bully? You gonna get that one soon? Leslie Wells is back. Last one for you. Okay. uh, if I had an unlimited money, what 6-string basses would you buy? And would it be a Ken Smith or a Michael Tobias or a Warwick? That's very, very easy to answer. I've tried and tried and tried to love a 6-string, and 6-string ain't for me. So I mean, that answers your question right there. I see no reason to buy a 6-string. I play a 6-string, I play a 7 and an 8-string, and that's like piano territory. That's like guitar territory. I don't see any reason to get into that. Now I'm not criticizing anybody else. You do you. You got John Myung and a whole other bunch of players. Oteo Burbridge. I mean, crazy on 6. And maybe if I got more into it, I would play a 6. But I'm not there yet. I want to go there. 5 strings is plenty enough for me. Sorry, Leslie. Do you like 6s? G Medina says, "What's up, Earl? Happy Sunday. Always bass day." Yes, sir. How you doing? Marco Hernandez. I'll be afraid to gig with something too expensive like a fedora. What if it gets dropped, scratched, or stolen? I wouldn't even feel comfortable having it in my house without insurance. Yeah, well, under usual wear and tear, your bass may get banged up. I mean, that's just the life of a busy musician. Although you try not to, if you don't want anything on it, including other people's DNA, well, you don't let people see your bass. That's about all you can do. But yeah. I mean, it's like having a real expensive car, right? I mean, you don't want anybody to drive, touch it, do anything with it. You always got to be extra careful when around. You're paranoid about the car all the time because you don't want it messed up. So I feel you, but and it's not comfortable. You got to just keep constantly worrying about it. So yeah, I see what you're saying, but we're just trying to stay alive. Jeff Wood said, "This was probably the best time to start a new project during this COVID stuff. We're still booking weddings and private parties, but no club gigs." Well, still booking stuff. Bully, hold on. Bully the Kid Willie says, I don't know. It's kind of pricey. You talking about the Dingwall? Yeah, it's up there. All right, Lily. It's up there. You got a few copies, right, Bully? What's your prize copy? Let's see if you come back on that. Sergio Casino. What bass do you consider to be overpriced? I don't know if I should answer that. I might get in trouble. I like, criticize the wrong person. Overpriced. Overpriced. Can I plead the fifth? I might get in trouble. Well. Yeah, I don't know if I should answer that. There's plenty I think are overpriced, but I don't want to make them mad at me. You say you shouldn't be afraid. You have your own opinion. Well, I couldn't touch monetarily, but that doesn't mean they're not quality. I'm gonna tell you honestly, the only one bass that I thought in recent times was a bit overpriced and not a quality bass. I wasn't that fond of the Mitchells. You ever seen the Mitchells? I thought they were when they first came out that they were a bit too overpriced. I thought they should have stayed within the $350, $400 range. But they were over that at like $5, $6. I'm like, wait a minute. And some of them I felt was like more than $200, $300 range. They were 4 and 5. So I thought they were because that hasn't they haven't sold a whole lot of basses in the guitar. So I think that's the reason why. I think they overpriced their products, and they're not bad products. I just think they're overpriced. So it would be the Mitchells. I'm going to get bad letters and frowns from Mitchell. I think they're a Canadian company. Constantine, my boy, says, any quick tips on string action? Having a hard time setting up my beat constantly. Try a lighter gauge, or just that beat is problematic sometimes. I know there are some people legitimate, bass companies that don't drill that hole too big down there for that beat. I mean, you might get a B string that's anywhere from 120 all the way to 130. Like the thing, that 130 is pretty strict things. I've had a problem getting through. That hole down there. You might have to drill a hole yourself. You have to compensate for that, but you don't want to drill it too big because then there's a lot of space in between there. So it's kind of hard. Yeah, that B string. So can't really give any insight on that, Constantine. I wish I could. Somebody else can. Constantine Islamon wants to know any quick tips on the string action. Having a hard time setting up my B string consistently. Can you help him out? Constantine Islamon, need your help on that B strings, setting it up consistently on the bass. Sergio's back. Constantine, keep those bass covers coming. He loves you. He likes your stuff, Constantine. Marco Hernandez. Earl, I agree 100% on the Mitchells. Yeah, they came out a little too expensive for what they were worth. I was surprised. And when I picked it up, I was, ready to hear something really, really good. And I gave it a not bad. But I thought that they really overpriced it a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. God, I've been on an hour and 15 minutes already? Wow. Yeah. like saying, why am I failing with slap bass on the D and especially on the G string? Then E and A are fine. Why are you failing? You can thump or you can pluck. Usually I pluck more on the D and G than the E and A. You say, why are you failing? Failing? You just not slapping them? Everybody has their way of doing it. I haven't seen 3 people do it the same way. They have their way and their unorthodox way of doing it. I don't know if you can criticize. However you get there, get there. Naturally the way your hands move or whatever. I mean, just keep at it. Let it make you mad. I'm gonna get this, man. I'm gonna get this damn slapping together, man. I want to do it so bad. So keep at it. That's all you can do. And you'll break through one day. I got frustrated. It went over and over and over. Saw my, peers, they're slapping down on other bases. Man, I ain't gonna never be able to do that, but I did. Constantine wants to know short scales, thumbs up or down. Definitely up. I played some shorts. I got a short scale here. One of the Ibanez. It's like, hey, they're easy to play. Great practice bases in your smaller spaces. Tina Weymouth of Talking Heads used to play one all the time. Those are Fenders, little broadcasters, or what do they call them? Music casters or whatever. They're fine. A bass is a bass to me. I don't feel ashamed because I got a smaller bass. Yeah, I like them. They're nothing to play. Especially when you're used to the full scale. I'm sorry. Get out of here. I've had these fly problems before. As much as I keep everything straight and the doors closed, and they still manage to get in somewhere. What comes through the chimney? What? Yeah, man, it's just something you got to work on. I've said it too many times. I'm never gonna get that bass line. Keep working on it. Got it. Keep going. Marco Hernandez is back. Sergio says, setup technique, many possibilities. Yeah, Sergio's failing to slap them, but the sound, the 2 strings simply don't come out. You'll get it. You'll get it, Sergio. We all do. May take a little longer, but you'll get it. I have the utmost confidence in you. Just don't quit. You'll get it. Everybody does. It's like driving that car for the first time. You'll get it. Getting up on that bike. Remember the 2-wheeler? Mom or dad took the train wheels off, and you got up on that thing, and you fell. You drove it, and you fell, and you fell, and you fell, and fell. And one day, you finally got your bearings together. Off you went. You'll get it. You will get it. Yeah. So I've been on here an hour and nearing an hour and 30. I'm 121 hour and 21 minutes. And this is the first time I brought this out. I've had a little while because I hadn't put what I wanted into it. Finally did. Constantine says, "It was a great time. Thanks for all your answers. Stay safe, my friend. You too, Constantine. You're a good friend, man. Good YouTube friend. All you guys. Lobster, Sergio, Marco. everybody. Hey, Paul Trainer, in London. G. Medina, Leslie. I don't think we've talked before, Leslie. Finally got to talk. Hey. All right, Bully. Everybody. Yeah, man. Gonna get back with you. I'll get off now. Thank for your input. This was base copies and what you feel about it. I guess the grand consensus is, hey, as long as it's a legitimate base and you bought it, you do what you want to with it. It's yours. Hey, no guilt at all, huh? Yeah. Well, there you have it. Thanks for your input. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna get out of here. Until next base, I'm gonna see you. Y'all be cool. Yeah. Close up.